I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
I knew it. I love when he does that.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
Adrenaline in my soul, something, something, Cody Rhodes. I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
Time. But let me go ahead and tell you.
Shut your bitch ass up.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 474 of the Hoots Podcast. You know who it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's the one and only, the brother Adam himself, a.k.a. Joshie Lopez, here to rock and roll here. We are, indeed, 26 episodes away from the final edition of the Hoots Podcast, which will be episode 500. Thank each and every single one of you who've been rocking with us for the last 10 years. I love each and every single one of you and hope you guys are having a good week so far. Lots to discuss as always in the world of professional wrestling, but first and foremost, I want to say, hope you guys are in good spirits. Hope the week is treating you good. And while I've been very busy these past couple months, this has been a very busy summer so far, and I'm enjoying it, making the best out of it as I could. Saving money and putting as much to the side as I can for this Florida move. It's not been easy, but I'm making progress, and we're getting there, folks. We're getting there. We're getting close. I think if I could make an estimate right now, I could probably say maybe before Christmas I could get down there. So I set out my number in 9,000. I had a certain number that I wanted to get at least 9 or 10K in my bank account before I started looking for apartments again. So I'd probably say by at least October we'll get past 9 or 10,000 bucks in my account, and really the next big steps right now is just really trying to find my second job, like my second remote job that I could do that could take with me to from Chicago to Florida. And that's really just the bigger holdup right now. But, you know, I have been more busier. I've been getting to do more articles. And I want to thank the good folks here from Odyssey for having us here, for Odyssey Creative Lab especially, for this being our new home. Fortunate enough that we just got our first check the other day, which is really cool to see. And we're actually getting money now for the podcast. Which is awesome, and I was not expecting it, but you know, taking a chance and having that Zoom meeting with the board of directors and the people there from Odyssey has really helped us out, and I got to explain my situation when I was at Spotify, so I could be grateful for the people at Odyssey for being there for us and being good partners and everything, but with that being said, this little extra side money has been helping the cause, is what I'm trying to get at. But really, to take the next steps to make this move official is obviously having that second remote job, and it's not as easy as people make it out to be. And I try to keep a brave face, but I have good days and bad days, you know. I'm human. We all go through shit. I have frustrations that I'm still here in Chicago. Trust me, I don't know how much longer I could take being in this city. But I'm making the best out of the situation that I'm in right now, and getting the opportunity to change the routine that I had walk-wise from my old apartment to where I am now. Here at the south side in Chicago. I've been doing my walks outside every day since I moved here at the end of March, and it's a challenge, but I have noticed progress with myself, losing weight wise with doing the walks outside, and I'm feeling good. The walks outside do wear me out. There's fatigue with this, especially for the extent of walking that I do. It's an every single day process. Like it wears out your legs and everything. But I guess one thing nobody can take away from me is that I do go 100% with everything that I put my mind to. So that's that. But going back to the Florida stuff, yeah, I'm thinking right now, at least either October or probably after Thanksgiving, I could definitely say that I'll be down there, or at least we'll be in the process of putting out applications and stuff and everything. Take care of what I need to take care of when it comes to like credit cards and stuff, which is good. But really, it's just I've been saving a lot of money. That's the main thing. I haven't really had the want to like buy things and stuff like that. I barely go out to eat by myself. So the big thing right now is just I've been saving money as I can and just fucking bust my ass with this stuff, and still pumping out these shows, pumping out these transfers, and try to take this 1 week at a time. I know in my heart that I'm frustrated that I'm not down there yet, but it's going to happen, and I'm just trying to keep a brave face and just keep smiling and understanding that I know that I'll get there, and it's all in due time. And I just have to thank God for keeping me grounded and, you know, just keeping my focus on what needs to be focused on right now. Of course, there's always a lot of stuff to talk about in the world of wrestling. I really don't have much to expand on anything that I see from the IWC. As we get closer to the end of this show, I feel like I'm going to take a step back from talking about kind of like the Dave Meltzers and the toxicity and all that stuff. I'm going to kind of steer back from that because really it's kind of a moot point at this juncture. Like I've been like trying to showcase everybody for the last 10 years that this way of wrestling talk and dialect is not good for the wrestling fan base, but it's starting to fall on deaf ears. And also I'm just done wasting energy on it. Like I don't care personally, like off the mic about the IWC and the dirt sheet wrestling bubble. It's just really annoying to look at sometimes. And I want to make these last run of episodes to be a positive one. And it's going by fast, man. Like, it really is. Like, and when I say the end of the podcast, I kind of hinted about this a couple weeks ago. I don't know if I'm fully done with podcasting, but I know that this era of talking professional wrestling on the podcast is coming to an end. After 500, it will come to an end when it comes to the wrestling portion. Do I want to throw away the Hoots Podcast as a whole? No. Can I change the name of it? Maybe. I don't know. I built something really nice with this thing. It's just like I have till now to January to figure out what I want to do. In that I feel like my voice in this space has kind of overstayed its welcome, and I don't know whether or not it's worthwhile for you guys to continue to hear my perspective on wrestling. There's so much content to consume, whether it's video or audio these days, and you know, I know that I probably won't fit in with the certain cliques of the wrestling media, and that's okay. I've never been a person that I need to fit in a clique or say shit just to have that clique recognize me and acknowledge me. Yeah, that's not the type of person that I am. That's not how I was raised, and I always kind of felt like an outcast in a lot of ways. Like I just never drove myself towards that cliquish chic mentality, and I've always felt out of place in a lot of ways. But to do the show for 10 years and to get 500 episodes out of it is awesome. I'm just in a position right now where I am mentally and professionally exhausted talking about professional wrestling on a podcast, because it's just like no matter how hard I try to bring something different to the table, it's just always going to be the same thing. It's always going to be about booking and whose sources is this and dick measuring contests that, and it's just like it's just deflating and it's defeating the purpose. But I also don't want to throw away the brotherhood and community that I've been able to build with this show for the last 10 years. You know, that's one of the things that really hurts my heart about ending this era of my broadcasting career, is just that it's not that I don't want to podcast anymore. It's just I can't do this anymore. I can't do this routine weekly, having to listen to shows that I don't want to listen to try to gain different perspectives from the wrestling fan base. And it gets to the point where you're like, and I want to throw this out there to all the young content creators that are out there too, or anybody that are in the space. Like, after you do this for a certain amount of time, it's just like, at the end of the day, enjoy whatever the fuck you want to enjoy, and you don't have to explain shit to anybody for it. If you're for WWE or AEW, like, whatever floats your boat, that's your prerogative. And I think for myself, I feel like I have a duty to come on here and just, like, be myself. Like, I don't have to come on here and wave the flag for one company against another. Even when we did What the Hell's Wrong with AEW, I never wished for it to die. If anything, that was a comedy segment to kind of expose how silly and biasy wrestling media was towards AEW. I mean, that's really what the core principle behind that segment was. I mean, I'm glad that it caught on. It definitely was a hit for the podcast for a period of time, but I didn't make that segment to be like, oh, I want AEW to die. And yeah, I have my stances on things. I still think it's a dirt sheet vanity project, but I'm not going to take away from the success that it has for it being a place for other wrestlers to wrestle and, you know, have that platform to be on HBO Max, like stuff like that. You can't take that away from them. But is AEW something that I'm clamoring to watch or defend or wherever, like I see on Twitter every day? No. I watch what I can watch. I got the notification from my boss at Wrestling Headlines. I'll be covering Forbidden Door in August. So August is going to be a very, very busy month for me, transcript-wise. And when you look at like Forbidden Door, I haven't covered the AEW show transcript wise since I did the original Wrestle Dream back in 2023. So it's been nearly 2 years. So I'm excited to do that. You know, if it's something where it lines up with my schedule transcript wise, or it's something where I have to cover the show, I'll cover it. But I'm not going on my way to watch it every single week. It's just it doesn't pull anything out of me. Like, I don't, like, I enjoy it, but it's not like I have this wavering feeling like, oh, I'm so excited, like I'm marking off everything that they do. Nor am I in the position I'm like, oh, everything sucks. Like, I'm not there. There was a period of time where I felt that because what I saw on the television represented that. But again, I only am atoning for my own perspectives. I don't owe anybody any other explanation besides that. I never wanted AEW to fail. I never wanted it to not succeed. Any other issue I ever had with AEW is the hyperbole that comes with it and how much glazing that comes from my field when it comes to the coverage of AEW. I guess I took the literal sense the term elite literally because, like, I don't know, I do feel in a way like I can be a purist and an analyst at times, and I do feel like, okay, it's okay to hold WWE to standards, right? Because they are the biggest company in the world, but we're going to put a blind eye and pussyfoot and treat AEW like a daycare center, even though their marketing scheme is that our wrestling is elite. AEW is where the best wrestle, and that AEW more or less is telling you that our wrestling's the best and then our shit don't stink, basically. That's kind of the vibe of it. It's kind of like if you're in high school, right? AEW is the AP Honor Club students, and everybody else who's normal is WWE. That's how AEW is covered, discussed, and promoted, not only through their company, but also their sickos, their shills, and everybody else on X and wrestling media in 2025. And that's the honest truth. Now, I'll tell you what, like, I think it's cool that they're having a residency here at the Aragon Ballroom. I know this has been a big topic of discussion this week. Oh, how you go from going to doing 20,000 at the Rangers ballpark to going to Aragon Ballroom for 1,100 people. And, like, their choices of venues and stuff. That stuff doesn't bother me. I really don't give a shit about that. And that's the thing, like, there's always this juggling act from my point of view when it comes to AEW. It's like, I've always wanted it to succeed. I went out of my way to go to a bunch of different shows. I went to the first Forbidden Door show. I went to Punk's debut at that Rampage show, The Last Dance. I went to the first Collision show. I went to... Here's my dedication to pro wrestling, and anybody ever wants to put me in a box and say I'm just a WWE guy. Well, if I'm just a WWE guy, why the fuck did I go through a snowstorm from... I went through a snowstorm from the near north side of Chicago all the way to downtown to... Wintrust Arena on a February night to go see CM Punk and MJF for the first time. I think I've been to at least 3 or 4 AEW shows that I can recall, you know? And I don't know. It's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. I want to succeed. I watch when I can. If I'm assigned to cover the show, I'll cover the show and look forward to it. Like, I'm believe it or not, I am looking forward to covering Forbidden Door, and I'm curious to see what the card is going to be. The show is going to be at the O2 Arena this year in London, and you know, we're coming off the heels from AEW All In. I didn't get a chance to watch it, so I can't come in here and tell you whether the show was good, bad, and different. I think the only thing that I saw in between the other shows that I was covering this weekend was the Tony Storm and Mercedes Moné match, which I thought was really good, even despite the fact that I don't buy into the Mercedes Moné hyperbole train. You know, I can give credit where credit's due, and I think that's probably the biggest thing that I could hang my hat on is the fact that I could give credit where credit's due when it comes to AEW. Even if there's times where I don't enjoy it, like, I'm not going to come here and be like, everything sucks and everything's the worst. There still needs to be improvement. Yes, I don't think that a dirt sheet merchant should be booking wrestling shows in 2025, but that's just my opinion. But at the end of the day, I still wanted to succeed. Even though I didn't watch AEW All In this past weekend, I'm not going to take away from their excitement from the fans of the show. You know, if it was a good show, it's a good show. I'm excited to see what they have in store for Forbidden Door. I'm actually covering the show. There's probably going to be a good chance that I'll buy the pay-per-view in order to cover it. But at the end of the day, like, I wanted to succeed. I wanted to be good. I just think that my space and my field just adds too much to the hyperbole and tribalism that they claim to hate. Like, they're not realizing that they're egging on the tribalism in how they cover and discuss AEW. And that's all. But besides that, like, everything else is fine on my own accord. I told you about what's going on with me in Florida. We're getting close to it. The biggest thing to accelerate this process is obviously getting that second remote job. So, wish me luck on that end. But I just wanted to come on here and shoot the shit with you guys and tell you guys what's up with me personally. And talk a little bit about AEW because we haven't had a chance to talk about that in a while. But when we come back, we'll get into this week in WWE. I'll recap the stuff that I covered from the Great American Bash, Saturday night's main event, and of course the Evolution pay-per-view that I got to cover on Sunday that I was privileged and honored to cover. And we'll get into this Goldberg interview with Ariel Helwani. We'll get into that this week in WWE, and following that, we'll do our main event segment, which is the Back Porch Q&A session, right here on episode 474 of the Hoots Podcast. We'll be right back. Yeet. Welcome back, everybody, to the Hoots Podcast. Time to talk about what happened this week in WWE. We had the retirement of Bill Goldberg at Saturday night's main event in Atlanta, Georgia this past Saturday. I covered the show live for Wrestling Headlines. By the way, if you ever want to see my play-by-play transcripts for the Hoots Podcast, make sure to go to the results section of WrestlingHeadlines.com. As always, if you want to also help us out, expand the reach of the podcast, make sure to hit the like button and smash the subscribe button on YouTube right now. So we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. If we get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, we'll become a YouTube partner with YouTube, obviously. So help us out on that end as well. We appreciate the support. This is a part of the podcast that I was dreading, actually, because for the last couple weeks, I've gone on my way to, like, defend Bill Goldberg and understand that, like, why they're having this match on Saturday night's main event, and why this was a great opportunity for him to go on his own terms and everything in between, and get to see what I saw on Saturday night. I don't know how you can have a better send-off respectfully than what happened on Saturday night. Yeah, I get it. The whole thing about getting your speech getting cut off is not a good look optic-wise, but it was re-uploaded on WWE's YouTube channel, and okay, like, Goldberg, do you not understand the optics of live network television? I mean, so anyways, I know hem and haw here. Goldberg made an appearance on the Ariel Helwani show. Big fan of Ariel Helwani. Does a great job not only with the show but the Uncrowned thing. They have a good platform that's growing as the months and stuff go by. I'm happy for their success, actually. Ariel is pumping out some good content. If you guys haven't seen Ariel Helwani's interview with Mike Santana the other day, you should. It's really deep. Coming up ahead of the show they got coming up this Sunday for TNA for the Slammiversary at UBS Arena on Long Island, New York. That's for you, my buddy Andrew Maydal. If you're listening, I miss you, my man. Look, I have a lot of respect for Bill Goldberg. I've been a Goldberg fan for a long time. I've always defended Goldberg. Even when he first came back and squashed Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series in Toronto in 2016. I remember that because that was during the Pipe Bomb with McCool and Company days. I remember that it was yesterday. I was there for Goldberg and Brock's good WrestleMania match in Orlando for WrestleMania 33. And the night after that Raw, after he got to close out the show with the Sun, you know, I was there in 34 when Goldberg got inducted to the Hall of Fame. You know, I got to see Goldberg again in Chicago when he was getting into that program with Bobby Lashley before SummerSlam. You know, where Bobby got interacting with Goldberg's son at ringside. I was literally right across from the thing. You know, I've always supported Bill Goldberg, and felt like he's got dealt a bad hand from the wrestling media and like wrestling in general. And I knew that the match was going to be good because obviously who his opponent was. But, you know, to go on your own terms, and I was enjoying the promo segments that was going on going into Saturday night's main event. I was probably one of the few wrestling media members that enjoyed the whole build-up with Goldberg and Gunther going into the show this past Saturday. So to see him go on Helwani show this past Tuesday, I think, and just go on a fucking 40-minute woe is me fest was honestly kind of a slap to the face to Goldberg fans all across the world. Victimizing, gaslighting, woe is me, like, I'm not going to try to take away what the man wants for his life. He's entitled to his own perspective on things, but it's just like, I got emotional. I'm not going to lie. Like, get to see him go make his final entrance with his son on the way out to the ring. I thought that was cool. When Goldberg was making his entrance, I got emotional. I didn't shed a tear or anything, but I was getting emotional. Like, I felt the energy. And the match was awesome. I loved it. I thought it was the layout of it was good. Gunther is if you can't look at Gunther and tell me that he's not the best wrestler in the world right now, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, I'm not saying that Goldberg and Gunther had a 5-star classic, but if you're gonna have a send off for Goldberg's career, that was that match. He didn't quit. Gunther passed out Goldberg on Saturday. I don't know how you're going to get a better send-off than that. Okay, your fucking retirement speech got cut off on NBC. It's not the end of the fucking world. Everybody still can see it. It was a great speech. I watched it right after. But to go on Helwani's show and hem and haw about your NDA and, oh, you got to wait 2 weeks to tell your truth, and on one breath be like, oh man, I enjoyed it. I couldn't be more grateful for the turnout. Oh, I wasn't the one that asked for Doug Dillinger to come out and all this shit. All the way for you to flip the script and be like, oh, that wasn't what I wanted. Oh, I'm pissed. Fuck off. And what's really ironic about all this is that I was ripping Dave LaGreca and busted open a new one for the past couple weeks. Not only for the way that LaGreca's been shitting on Seth Rollins for whatever weird reason. I don't get it. Like, he always pumps out his chest about, oh, come on, The Rock, come to my show. Come to my show. Give me the attention I need. I'm a clout chaser. Give me the attention, Rock. To, here we are. He shits on Seth Rollins every chance he gets, but he doesn't invite Seth Rollins on to bust it open. So where's the same energy, by the way? I've been ripping Busted Open a new asshole for the past couple months because they deserved it. They're not above criticism. I love and respect Bully Ray. He's the man. He's the best analyst that Busted Open has on that channel. I'm not a Sam Roberts fan. I never have. I used to be a Sam Roberts fan, but I'm not going to be a Sam Roberts fan anymore. The guy's too prickish and condescending, and I'm not a fan of smarmy people. I'm just not. So I'm not a fan of Sam Roberts, but I'm a fan of Peter Rosenberg. I'm happy that my guy, Stat Guy Greg, gets to be on Sirius XM right now with Cheap Heat. I love Cheap Heat. I've been a fan of Cheap Heat since day one. Obviously, we got my mentor, Jonathan Hood, from Good Karma Wrestling, who seemed to have ghosted me over the years. I don't know if we have heat or whatever. I have no issue with him, but he hasn't reached out to me in years. Don't know what's going on. We had a little thing going on with Hood and Lopez, and then it's just like I'm off the face of the earth to him now. I haven't heard from him in months. Still happy for his success. They're doing good stuff with GKW, and they just had Tony Khan on their podcast the other day. I'm happy for Hoodie's success. I still support it, even though I don't know why Hoodie has ghosted me. I haven't said anything bad about him or anything, so I don't know what the problem is. Then, there's good things about Busted Open. I like Dave too. I've had Dave LaGreca as a guest on my shows plenty of times over the years. I've met Dave in person before. I don't have any personal issues with Dave. I think recently, especially with the whole stuff with The Rock, is weird and clout chasing, and I'm always gonna call out clout chasers, and that's what it is. It's clout chasing behavior. The whole stuff with LaGreca and The Rock, but I don't have any personal issues with the guy. And so even then, with him losing his brain cells about Goldberg getting a title match against Gunther at Saturday Night's Main Event, and I ripped that accordingly and justifiably so. Here we are a few weeks later, and I'm going to play this clip from Busted Open the other day. And believe it or not, I agree with everything Dave has to say in this clip. Listen to this.
This. In mainstream sports, not everybody could go out like Peyton Manning. I mean, there's probably you could count on your hand how many people went out like Peyton Manning, where you win a Super Bowl and you got the Vince Lombardi Trophy, and you're like John Elway. You lose and you got the Vince Lombardi above your head. You can count on your hand how many people go out like that. In professional wrestling, how many people? This one's for John. How many professional wrestlers have what Goldberg just had on Saturday? How many?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. As a matter of fact, and I take exception to what this man said, because he mentions The Undertaker. But he mentions, they wouldn't have done this to The Undertaker. The Undertaker didn't have that. The Undertaker didn't have what Goldberg had on Saturday.
Undertaker had a great Hall of Fame speech. They treated him differently for the Hall of Fame, but he had an entire "It's the Undertaker's" goodbye.
The Undertaker's last match was a cinematic match during the fucking pandemic. And I've come on the air and said, man, Undertaker needed to have one more match just to make it right. He never did. His last match, right? I'm not mistaken here. His last match was the cinematic match against AJ Styles at a WrestleMania that, had no fans.
Sting had a nice farewell.
Sting had a nice farewell. There's no doubt. Sting had a nice... and Goldberg, you could say that the stage that Goldberg said goodbye was bigger than the stage that Sting said goodbye. Goldberg, on Saturday night's Main Event on network TV.
Network television is over pay-per-view.
No doubt. No doubt. I would say over a Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. Network TV on Saturday night, a big weekend for the WWE. And that was one of the highlights, if not the highlight, of the weekend.
And if you also think about the weekend, in the biggest wrestling weekend, they're saying your retirement is worthy of the main event and closing the show.
And that's the other thing, Tommy. Like, The Undertaker's last match, was it for a world championship? Goldberg's last match was for a world championship. And they gave the match 15 minutes.
The one thing that I heard, and I saw a lot of clips about, like, when Ariel asks, is there an NDA? You'll be able to hear in 2 weeks. I don't think there's an NDA. I think, hey, you have a contract and your contract expires in 2 weeks.
Well, wait, Tommy, the quote that Goldberg said in the interview, this was the quote. In 2 weeks, I can spill the beans. It's exactly, in 2 weeks, I can spill the beans.
Well, I don't think there's a 2-week NDA. I don't think they would waste legal time for that. I think he's under contract for about 2 weeks. And hopefully there isn't more follow-up, because it doesn't shine the best light on something that universally was really, really liked.
You know, I'd love to get on Bret Hart. Because I got to be honest with you, Tommy, Bret Hart been holding back. Bret Hart's been holding back. I thought Bret Hart was, you know what, this guy's a little bit too much. Like when he comes to Goldberg, he's saying too much. Being too hard on Goldberg. I don't think Bret Hart's been hard enough. I think he's been holding back.
Ruined your birthday.
At least the tail end. And then Ariel asks about, like, is this it? And Goldberg says, on principle, like, in principle, it's my last match. But, you know, I dedicated 5 months for this last match. I've never dedicated 5 months, that amount of time, for one thing. He goes, I feel like it's a waste. He goes, I feel like it's a waste. He goes, so in principle, it's my last match. But, you know, it's wrestling. You never know. Really? Really? I was complaining about 3 years ago. He said, you know what? You're not only are you're next, you're last. And then three years later, he's in the ring in Atlanta. He's still leaving a slither of the door open that there could be a comeback for Goldberg. Can he just say, that's it, I'm done? That was my last match. Best case scenario, I'm going out. That's how I wanted to go out. I'm done. He had to do that. Well, in principle, yes, but what? There is no but. You're done. You're done. You're done. D-O-N-E, done. Done. No more Goldberg. I don't want to see him. I don't want to hear from him. I don't want any more tributes. I don't want any more ceremonies. If I'm Triple H, after hearing that interview, I'm like, fuck this guy. If I guarantee at some point yesterday, Triple H said to someone or to himself, fuck this guy. We just did all that for him, and he's complaining to Ariel Helwani. 15 minutes in, Tommy, I had to turn it off. I was getting so angry. I'm like, I can't let this guy ruin my birthday. He's ruined so many things for me throughout the course of the last 25 years. He's not ruining my birthday. So I turned it off. I turned it off halfway through because I couldn't take it anymore. I was getting nauseous. The dinner I had, the ice cream I had, celebrating my birthday, I was about to vomit all over the fucking floor because of this asshole. I had to turn it off. I turned it off. Not because of Ariel Helwani, because I love Ariel Helwani. Because of Goldberg.
By the way, happy belated birthday to David Greca. And I want to come here and apologize to David Busted Open for going off on you guys about the Goldberg and the lead up and all that. After listening to this clip back again, I am a big advocate about showing grace and gratitude, even if for things that don't go your way, right? Not everything is ever going to line up perfectly for any certain aspect of life, whether it's end of a relationship, end of a marriage, end of a job, retirement, high school. Nothing's ever perfect in life, nor should it be. And I don't know, Goldberg, Bill, if you're such a fucking malcontent in life that you can't enjoy things in your life, where it's like, you have your entire family, friends and family that meant the world to you, special entrants, the opportunity to be on network television and close out in your adopted hometown of Atlanta. I don't know what else WWE could have done for you. If it's just it wasn't on a PLE, fine. I think being on network television is a bigger platform than being on SummerSlam, but that's neither here or there. Okay? What I don't like is lack of gratitude and being a malcontent, and it's just like, it's a bad look, dude. And I hate saying it as a Goldberg fan, but it's a bad fucking look for you to have this wonderful send-out that you had on Saturday night, all just to wait 3 days later to fucking bitch about it like a little crybaby on Ariel Helwani's show. Embarrassing. That left a sour taste in my mouth when it came to Goldberg watching that interview the other day. To the point where I don't give a fuck what he has to say in 2 weeks. His freshest NDA. What, is Goldberg going to pop up at the Aragon Ballroom in a couple weeks in AEW? Awesome! I don't give a fuck at this point. I was about to have closure with Goldberg, and then he opens his mouth, and now I don't give a shit what he does going forward. And Vince Russo said this the other day, and I thought it was so apropos. You opening your mouth about what WWE did to you, don't you realize that could be collateral damage towards your son as he tries to aspire in his wrestling career down the road? I don't know why you're going to burn a bridge like that when they went out of their way to put stuff to the side for their own build towards SummerSlam for you, and you're going to go on Helwani's show and act like a little bitch. Woe is me, woe is me, woe is me. Pathetic. Ridiculous. We got other stuff to discuss, so I'll try to make this brief because we got to get into the questions. So, we had the Great American Bash this past Saturday for NXT. I thought it was an enjoyable show. Center stage, old classic WCW venue, NWA television back in the day. Jasper Troy and Javon Evans was a fun match like I thought it was going to be. Shout out to Ethan Page and Ricky Saints for that Falls Count Anywhere match for the North American Championship. I loved it. It was a very, very good Falls Count Anywhere match. By the way, NXT is going to be in Houston this Tuesday. They got a live show out of Florida coming up on Tuesday, which I'm excited for that. And The Undertaker is going to be there. That's Undertaker's hometown, Houston. He's going to confront Trick Williams. We'll see if Trick Williams is still the TNA champion coming out of Slammiversary this Sunday. My guess is going to be Mike Santana winning that match, but that's my educated guess, if you will. But with that being said, let's continue on here. We had, looking back for NXT really quick, Obafemi and Inamura. I enjoyed the physicality in the match. I think Josh Briggs of it all kind of took the enjoyment out of the finish for me personally. Briggs is just on this like selfish trajectory thingy. Like I don't really get his character. Yeah, he's just like that guy that like you don't want to hear him talk, but he like I don't know. He has good matches, but I don't get the character. It looks like Obafemi and Josh Briggs are probably next up to fight each other for the championship. We'll see what happens from there. Not too crazy about it, to be honest with you. The main event with Blake Monroe and Jordan Grace and Fatal Influence was very good. If you haven't seen it, go on your way to check out that match. That was very, very enjoyable. They had assistance from Masa Slamovich, but Blake Monroe got the pinfall victory over Jason Jane that bled into Evolution. Sunday was a great day. Sunday was a very, very powerful day. I always have the honor and thrill. I genuinely have, for the years that I've been doing these transfers over the years, to have the ability to and the opportunity to cover these all-women events. I'm not going to say I come in here and be like, I'm a super Joshie, shimmer, shine, wrestling mark or anything like that. And I don't even say that in a negative connotation. Like, if there's wrestling fans that just enjoy female wrestling, that's awesome. I'm not going to judge you for it. I've been to a shimmer taping maybe once back in 2013, which is kind of cool because I saw like Athena before she came big, and some of these other talents. I think that's probably the first time I saw Dakota Kai too. I could be wrong, but I've been to a Shimmer show before. I've covered the Mae Young Classic, both of them. I did the entire NXT UK Women's Championship Tournament. I covered the first Evolution back in 2018. Here we are 7 years later, and Evolution 2 was a resounding success, honestly. I loved the show. The matches were awesome. Becky Lynch, Lyra, Valkyrie, and Bayley tore the fucking house down to kick off the show. I thought JC and Jordan were having a hard opportunity to follow that type of match, but I thought they made the best out of it. We saw the heel turn for Blake Monroe. So Blake Monroe is a heel, kind of a good choice there. I thought the women's four-way tag match was very physical. Yeah, it got a little AEW-ish during it. I lost track on who the legal competitor was. It was just like I think the Kabuki Warriors would be a perfect tag team in AEW because they don't know the emphasis of you're not supposed to be in the ring for 10 seconds. They're like, oh, okay, hey, we're quick. We'll do a bunch of combo moves every 3 seconds. Like, no, like it's not an AEW match. But I love the team of Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. I love it. I've enjoyed this since the beginning of this program. They're frenemies. Now they're acquaintances of convenience. I loved it. I think these two have potential to be a babyface tag team going into SummerSlam. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they become the women's tag team champions at SummerSlam. We'll see what happens tonight on SmackDown. The other thing they've advertised for tonight for SmackDown is John Cena and Cody Rhodes' contract signing for their match at SummerSlam. By the way, I saw this before I pressed the record button today that SmackDown is returning to the Allstate Arena in Chicago on September 5th. So that's going to be the post Clash in Paris edition. So be on the lookout for that. That could possibly be John Cena's last appearance in Chicago. So I'm definitely going to have to be at that show. I have to. I was there, and it's so serendipitous. You know, it's right. It's like John Cena's first appearance in Chicago was on SmackDown. His last one would be an appearance in Chicago on a SmackDown. So, interesting call to say the least. Anyways, let's continue on here. Trish and Tiffany Stratton's match, thoroughly enjoyed it. They had a 10-day build. I don't give a fuck. I said this on X the other day. It's just like, all these times you hear these content creators talk about, oh, the build was this, the build was this, the build was that, the build was that. At some point, just let the fucking bell ring. Like, we're watching wrestling. Like, not everything has to be Breaking Bad for every little program that's on a card. Like, it doesn't work that way. I was so happy for Trish and Tiffany. They tore the house down. That was good. Naomi and Jade Cargill's no holds barred match, very good. Jade Cargill got a nice victory. She's heading now to fight Tiffany Stratton for the championship at SummerSlam. That should be a good match. Curious to see how that build starts tonight on SmackDown. Who do you think would be the heel in that one, Tiffany or Jade? That's the real question. Now with the new changes, which I'll get to just a minute, but the Battle Royal, great to see Nikki Bella on my TV screen. She gets hotter as the weeks go by. She is smoking hot. Stephanie Vaquero won the Battle Royal, so she'll be getting a women's world title shot in Clash in Paris. Here to see where it goes down for Stephanie going into that show. But the main event was Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. And I'm not kidding you. This is probably one of the top 10 matches that I've covered so far this year, and it's probably up there in the top 10 or 20 female matches I've ever transcribed. It was that good. If you have not seen Io Sky and Rhea Ripley attached with Naomi's cash-in, you need to go out of your way to see it, because that was some top-tier shit. Like the false finish of Rhea kicking out over the moonsault and seeing the crowd, like you look like the arena was shaking for a moment, like right before Io was going back up top of the turnbuckle. But if you haven't seen Io and Rhea, go on your way to watch it. It was fantastic. Not only that match, but the Bayley and Lyra Valkyria 2 out of 3 falls match that we saw on Raw this past Monday was awesome. There's some just really good stuff with women's wrestling right now, and all those ladies should keep hang their head high, because they should be very proud of what they put out on Sunday. I'm so happy for Naomi. If you look at the theme of evolution, you look at Naomi's character as a whole, and to the moment she had to close out the event on Sunday in Atlanta, it's apropos. I thought Nikki Bella described it perfectly on her podcast this week. If you look at evolution, it is Naomi. Her evolution to where she is now is a 180, and she deserved that moment out of everybody on Sunday. And it was a fantastic show. I had a blast covering Evolution, and I do hope, just like everybody else, that it becomes a yearly thing. What I'm also excited for is my boy CM Punk. CM Punk won the gauntlet match. We're going to get CM Punk and Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam. That's going to be awesome. Excited for that. That's another one where it doesn't really need bell. Just let the fucking bell ring on that one. Also, Randy Orton and Jelly Roll against Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. I'm all here for it. I saw the skit on Jimmy Kimmel, the stuff they did last week on SmackDown. I'm all for it. I'm a big Jelly Roll fan. I love his music, and he's a big wrestling fan. And those guys are gonna kill it. That's gonna be a fun match. I'm excited for that one. And then what else I wanted to mention? Oh yes. We'd be remiss without mentioning our Tribal Chief is back. Yes! The Tribal Chief came off his yacht and came back to work this week. Big ass pop in Birmingham, Alabama. That crowd in Raw this Monday was really good. Roman Reigns is back. Raw's in Houston this Monday. The Tribal Chief is back. We'll see what happens for Paul Heyman and his crew going into SummerSlam. Do we get Roman Reigns against Braun Breaker at SummerSlam? That'd be crazy. Is it Roman and Jay against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed? That's a possibility too. But I'll tell you what, this SummerSlam card is looking pretty good. I'll get more thoughts on it, like what matches I put on both nights, since it's a 2-night event. I'll look more into that on next week's episode. But from what I'm seeing so far for the SummerSlam card, it's pretty good. You got Cena, Cody, Punk, Gunther, Roman, Jay against Braun, Tiffany and Jade, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky and Naomi, AJ Styles and Dominic for the IC title. Probably get Solo and Jacob again for the US title. Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre against Jelly Roll and Randy Orton and Jelly Roll against Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. I think we're in for a good one. I don't see how put Sheamus and Rusev on there as well. I don't give a shit. I would love to see that on a PLE. I think we're in for some good shit, guys, for SummerSlam. I think it's going to be a good one this year. So that is what happened this week in WWE. When we come back, we'll answer your questions for the Back Porch Q&A session right here on episode 474 of the Hoots Podcast. As the road to episode 500 continues. We are back. Yeet. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. One more segment to do here on the podcast. Hoots, time to answer your questions for this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session. Let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. Throw up the X. Throw up the X for the good brother Chris Zaletta at XingZaletta24X on the Twitter machine. Let's see what he has for us this week. He says, what up, Moose? Here's some questions for the Q&A this week. Do you think there's more to Naomi going to Raw that maybe ties into Bianca? No. Not unless they're past intertwined at WrestleMania, at the Royal Rumble. I don't see anything else going further with Naomi. Plus the fact that Naomi's already in a triple threat match at SummerSlam, so I don't think anything is going to happen between the two unless it's something that happens at Royal Rumble. We'll have to see where it goes from there. Ron Killings posted an interesting photo this past weekend of him, Mello, and the Prophets. Could there be something on the horizon? I don't know if it's something on the horizon, but if that's a faction that they want to have, I wouldn't have a problem with that. I think that'd be cool. Favorite match from Saturday night's main event, Evolution and Great American Bash. Okay, for Saturday night's main event, my favorite match from the show was Randy and Drew McIntyre. That would be my pick. Great American Bash, Ethan Page and Ricky Saints. The main event would be a close second on that one. And then Evolution, obviously, is Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. Do you think Evolution will be a yearly show? I hope so. If it's not, I get it. But I'd love to see more female, like, just specific shows down the road. I think that'd be cool. Did you catch anything from All In? The only thing that I saw was the Tony Storm and Mercedesville name match. That's the only one that I saw. Have you listened to the new Clips album? I have not. I don't know who Clips is. Sorry, brother. I don't know who Clips is. Who will walk out of Slammiversary the double champion? JC Jane or Masa Slamovich? Good question. Since this is going to be on a TNA pay-per-view, I'm going to say Masha Slamovich. And I only say that because I think, in a way, Masha and JC could get into a program with each other, and then JC could get the NXT Women's title back at Heatwave. That's how I see it. Like, Masha could be the double champion for now, and then JCJ could get the NXT Women's title back in Heatwave in Lowell, Massachusetts. Are you gonna go to that show, by the way? I know that the August 24th is gonna be a busy ass day for your boy. I got the Forbidden Door show is going to be at the O2 Arena. I'll be doing that during the day. That's gonna be a long ass show, and then I'm gonna do Heatwave right after on WrestlingHeadlines.com. You gonna go to that show, Chris? Let me know, man. Thank you for the good questions as always, brother. I appreciate it. Our next set of questions here come from the good brother Mike Rubio at Main Event Swerve, all the way down there in Houston, Texas. It says, "What up, Boos? Happy MLB All-Star break and countdown to SummerSlam to you. Here's some questions for a blazing summer back Porch. Early predictions. Will Karrion Kross get a SummerSlam match?" There's another one right there. Yes, he will, my friend. Karrion Kross will fight Sami Zayn at SummerSlam. If that's no DQ, we'll see. But I think it would be Kross and Sami for sure at SummerSlam. That'll definitely happen. What do you think will happen with Braun Strowman and Braun Breaker? Will they start being a dynamic tag unit with Heyman, rival each other while Braun has the IC program, or something else? That's a good question. I can see grudge feuds obviously on the horizon. Let's say that Punk beats Gunther for the championship. You could have Punk get in a program with Breaker and Bronson chasing after him for the World Championship while Seth is still gone. They could be a tag team. Does Bronson turn on Braun Breaker out of the gate? We'll have to see. There's a lot of things up in the air. I'm just kind of taking the 1 week at a time approach, Mike, with that. But there's definitely plenty of possibilities with that. What do you think of Nikki Bella's first match in years back on Raw? I thought it was fine. You know, shit happens. She explained out of the pockets that she had a natural instinct to put Chelsea in her original rack attack move. That was the one that fucked up her neck. So she decided to make the switch. The transition to the 2.0 didn't go out the way she wanted it to. But it's sports. Like, shit happens. Like, I never been the wrestling content creator like, oh, you botched this, you botched that, you botched. Like, I've never been in a wrestling ring before. It's not my place to say, oh, you did something wrong. You know, I thought she looked good. She had good sequences and encounters and stuff with Chelsea for the match, from what I recall, on Monday in Birmingham. She looked damn good too. I'm not gonna lie, the waterfall with Nikki is working right now. But all in all, I thought it was fine. Was it Ricky Saints Eat the Page match one of the better Falls Count Anywhere matches you've ever seen last weekend? Yes, it's definitely one of the better ones that I've seen in recent memory for sure. I don't watch full weekly shows as frequently, so when did the crowd start going woo to Lyra's entrance theme? That's something that's been going back to her NXT days. It's just part of the song, and then she flails her hands out like a wing, basically. So they've been doing that since NXT. Also, did Becky do the best backslide cover you've ever seen at Evolution? It's definitely one of the more impressive ones I've seen in a while, but I'd probably say either that or a Zack Sabre Jr. style backslide. That's what kind of reminded me on Sunday during that match, but it was definitely a really good one. I don't mean to be a prisoner of the moment, but I feel like the 3 hours of Evolution 2 flew by, so why would you deem it better than the first Evolution event? I thought the card was better for this one, and I just felt it was a great women's pay-per-view. I didn't feel like it was something like groundbreaking, earth-shattering, history-making thing. This was just a fun show on its own accord. It wasn't like, oh, we're making history, so we're going to make it the promotion with it being based on making history. This was just a good show with a lot of good matches, and it was just a good PLE. Also, there are a lot to choose from, but would you rate Naomi as maybe the top 5 unexpected cash-in moments yet? Yeah, I would. I'd probably put that in the top 10. I don't know about top 5, but I'd put top 10 for sure. Who was a show-stealing standout from Evolution Battle Royal other than Stephanie Vancouver? Jada Parker, Missy Ams, and Lash Legend. Should WWE wait for 2026 to see if Seth Rollins could do a Money in the Bank cash-in up until WrestleMania, or allow for some tournament or some other way to transfer it? Paul Heyman said this on Monday. Like, Seth Rollins has to June in order to cash in. This is not something where, like, oh, you're a champion and you lose, you get injured, and then you have to be stripped out of the title. There's no 30-day rule where Money in the Banks have to be in the equation or tease, you know. I think Seth is fine. If it's something where he needs 4 or 6 months to recover, then take it. He has all the way to June. If it's something where he pops out last minute, you know, like, let's say, like, at WrestleMania, right? Cody fights CM Punk in the main event of WrestleMania, right? CM Punk beats Cody to win the championship, and then Seth Rollins cashes in. Talk about some serious heat there, you know? They could play it out, but this is not a scenario where it'd be like if Seth Rollins was the world champion and he got injured and that they had to strip the title out of him and then had to do a tournament. Like, that's not the case in the scenario here. I get the retirement match and all that, but do you see Goldberg staying away from the ring completely this time? No, I don't. After watching that interview on Helwani's show, I have a feeling that Tony Khan called Goldberg over the weekend to fill his head with a bunch of bullshit, and that's why he was carrying himself the way he was in that Helwani interview. And Goldberg will pop up in AEW. I just know it. Goldberg will be in AEW. Either Chris Jericho or Tony Khan gave Goldberg the call, and Goldberg will finish out his wrestling career at AEW. What do you think of the idea of swing-offs to decide a tied MLB All-Star game? Do you like that, or the idea of a next run scored win setup? I'm not too crazy about the swing-offs, honestly. I think for me, honestly, I miss the old All-Star games that matter, that they actually put the home advantage for the World Series on the line. I miss that, but there's all these extracurricular things that they're attaching to these All-Star events are just, I don't know, man. It's weird. The All-Star games across the board just suck. Every single one of them are just terrible. Every single one. Last question here. He says, did you watch the ESPYs or at least Shane Gillis' Monologue? That's all for now, but I look forward to a lot of fun to come as SummerSlam run continues. I appreciate you, good brother, man. Make sure to follow Mike at Twitter, by the way, at Main Event Swerve, and Chris is at Twitter at XScenes1124X on the Twitter machine. I did not watch the ESPYs or get to see Shane Gillis' Monologue, but I saw tweets about it, but I didn't have a chance to watch it yet. But I want to thank Mike and Chris for the wonderful questions. As always, if you want to participate in the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit me up on Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. Make sure to do us a favor. For those who are watching us and listening to us right now on YouTube, make sure to hit that like button and smash the subscribe button. That way we get closer to our goal for 1,000 subscribers on the channel. Also, if you like, make sure to follow the podcast on Odyssey. Odyssey is the new home of the Hoots Podcast, and we appreciate their contributions to the program. And also, you can get the podcast anywhere you get your podcast from. Spotify, why? Apple Podcasts, why? Anywhere, why? Make sure to check out my play-by-play coverage of all televised WWE events in the results section of WrestlingHeadlines.com. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm Joshie. This has been episode 474 of the Hoots Podcast. Remember, folks, be the authentic product that is yourself. Remember, nobody dictates the pace of your life but yourself and the man upstairs. I'm Joshie. This has been episode 474. Next week will be episode 475. We are officially 25 episodes away from the final edition of the podcast at Hoots. I love you all. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you all next week. Yeet.
Bye-bye, bitch.